In the split second between Damar Hamlin collapsing on the field and the medics rushing to his side, the world seemed to freeze. Thousands of fans fell silent, players wept openly, and an entire nation held its breath as a young athlete fought for his life in front of millions. What unfolded that January night in 2023 wasn't just a shocking moment in sports, it was the start of an incredible story of resilience, courage, and hope that would inspire far beyond the football field. On January 2, 2023, what began as a routine NFL game quickly turned into a moment etched in the hearts of millions. The Buffalo Bills were facing the Cincinnati Bengals in a stadium packed with fans ready for an exciting night of football. Damar Hamlin, a young and promising player for the Bills, was on the field, fully immersed in the game he loved. But what was supposed to be just another step in his career took a sudden and terrifying turn. The game started as expected, with electric energy in the stands and fans cheering every play. Hamlin, known for his focus and determination, moved across the field with the confidence and skill that had made him a rising star. Then, during the second quarter, the unimaginable happened. After completing what seemed to be a routine tackle, Hamlin stood briefly before collapsing lifelessly onto the turf. The stadium fell into a stunned silence. At first, many assumed it was a typical football injury, perhaps a concussion or a hard hit. But as seconds turned into minutes and medical personnel rushed onto the field, the gravity of the situation became clear. Hamlin had suffered a cardiac arrest, a life-threatening event that stopped everything, on the field and across the nation. The Bills' medical team acted with incredible urgency. Every move was deliberate and precise, knowing full well the stakes were life or death. CPR was administered right there on the field as players from both teams knelt in prayer, some visibly crying, others frozen in shock. In the stands, fans clasped their hands together in silent prayers, their faces etched with worry. The game's broadcast captured the raw emotion of the moment, and soon, social media was flooded with messages of concern and support. Within minutes, Damar Hamlin became a name that transcended the sport, uniting people from all walks of life in hope and solidarity. After about 10 tense minutes of CPR and life-saving efforts, Hamlin's pulse was restored. He was loaded into an ambulance as players and coaches stood in somber silence, some wiping away tears. The crowd, which had been roaring with excitement earlier, erupted into a heartfelt applause, not for a touchdown or a victory, but for the fragile return of a heartbeat. The game was suspended. The competitiveness that defines football was replaced with a collective focus on what truly mattered, the life of a 24-year-old athlete. Across the country, fans anxiously awaited updates, glued to their screens, while messages of hope poured in from athletes, celebrities, and public figures. The hashtag #PrayForDamar quickly became a rallying cry, a symbol of shared humanity in a moment of crisis. As Hamlin was rushed to the hospital, his teammates grappled with an emotional weight that was impossible to put into words. What had started as just another game now served as a stark reminder of life's fragility. At the hospital, doctors confirmed the severity of the situation. Hamlin's cardiac arrest, caused by a rare event known as commotio cordis, had brought him perilously close to death. Yet, thanks to the swift and skilled response of the medical team on the field, he had a fighting chance at survival. The days that followed were filled with uncertainty. Hamlin remained in critical condition, sedated, and dependent on a ventilator. But as fans held vigils and the world collectively sent prayers his way, a sense of hope began to take root. The sports community, often marked by rivalries and competition, came together like never before. Players from opposing teams, entire organizations, and even people who didn't follow football found themselves deeply moved by Hamlin's fight. Meanwhile, a ripple effect was taking place. Hamlin's incident shed light on the importance of preparedness in sports, CPR training, access to automated external defibrillators, and the role of rapid medical response in saving lives. His story ignited a broader conversation about safety, inspiring action beyond the field. Then, came the moment everyone had been praying for. Damar Hamlin woke up. The news spread like wildfire, filling hearts with relief and gratitude. One of the first things he asked, in true competitive spirit, was, "Did we win the game?" Those simple words became a symbol of his unbreakable determination, reflecting the core of who he was as an athlete and a person. From that point on, Hamlin's recovery became a story of inspiration. Though the road ahead was long, he had already achieved something extraordinary. He had brought people together, united in hope and compassion. At the hospital, he was surrounded by family, friends, and teammates who celebrated each small victory with him. Hamlin's charity, originally established to provide resources for children in his community, saw an outpouring of support. Donations soared into the millions, as people from all over the world felt compelled to contribute. What had started as a grassroots effort to make a difference in his hometown had grown into a global movement fueled by kindness and empathy. For many, that night on the field wasn't just a tragedy, it was a powerful reminder of the strength of human connection. Football, a sport known for its intensity and physicality, had revealed its softer, more unifying side. In the face of uncertainty, Hamlin's story became a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest moments, the light of humanity can shine through. Damar Hamlin's journey, which began with a nightmare, was transforming into a tale of triumph. He wasn't just fighting to return to the field, he was showing the world that, no matter how great the challenge, resilience and faith could lead to something extraordinary. Waking up marked the beginning of a new chapter for Damar Hamlin, not just for him but for everyone following his story. It was as if the world breathed a collective sigh of relief when the news broke that he was conscious, alive, and still very much himself. For the doctors, his survival was nothing short of a miracle. For Hamlin, it was the start of a journey he hadn't planned for but was determined to face head-on. In the days following his awakening, Hamlin began to piece together the magnitude of what had happened. With every visit from teammates, friends, and family, he learned more about the incredible wave of love and support that had surrounded him during his fight for survival. People all over the world had prayed for him, his charity had raised millions of dollars, and his story had broken through the boundaries of sports. He wasn't just an athlete anymore, he was a symbol of resilience and hope. But even with this outpouring of love, Hamlin knew his battle was far from over. Recovery would be a grueling process, requiring both physical and emotional strength. The first steps were the hardest. Still in the hospital, every movement felt monumental. He had to rebuild trust in his body, which had failed him so suddenly and dramatically. His medical team, family, and the Buffalo Bills staff stood by him every step of the way, offering encouragement and support. The emotional scars, however, were just as deep. The trauma of nearly losing his life on the field, in front of teammates and thousands of fans, was not something he could easily shake off. Therapy sessions helped him navigate the fears he hadn't known before, fears of his heart giving out again, of not being able to return to the game he loved, of the uncertainty that loomed over his future. Despite this, Hamlin's resolve was unshaken. He refused to dwell on self-pity, choosing instead to view his survival as a second chance to make an even greater impact. As he began to recover, the world's attention naturally turned to one pressing question: would Damar Hamlin play football again? Could he? The pressure was immense, but Hamlin didn't rush to answer. He was focused on taking it one day at a time. For him, this wasn't just about football, it was about proving to himself that he could overcome the toughest challenge of his life. He began sharing glimpses of his progress on social media, snippets of physical therapy, smiling alongside teammates, heartfelt messages thanking fans for their prayers. Every post was met with a flood of love and encouragement, proof that his journey still resonated deeply with millions. But Hamlin's story wasn't just about his personal recovery anymore. It had grown into something bigger. He became a vocal advocate for heart health awareness, promoting the importance of CPR training and ensuring that automated external defibrillators, AEDs, were accessible in public spaces. Hamlin knew that the quick actions of the medical team on the field had saved his life, and he wanted to make sure others had the same chance. At the same time, Hamlin was working tirelessly behind the scenes to get back on the field. Training sessions began cautiously, with doctors and coaches closely monitoring every move. Each sprint, each throw, each moment back in his element felt like a small victory. But the biggest battle wasn't physical, it was mental. He had to confront the fear that what happened before could happen again. Faith, family, and the unwavering support of his team helped him push through the doubts. Then, the day arrived. Damar Hamlin was ready to officially rejoin the Buffalo Bills in practice. The announcement sent waves of excitement through the sports world. Fans celebrated, but the question lingered, could he really return to the same level of performance? Was it worth the risk? Hamlin, however, remained steadfast. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew he didn't want to live with regrets. He wanted to prove that even the hardest setbacks could be overcome with determination and heart. When he finally stepped onto the field again, the stadium erupted in applause. It didn't matter if he made a game-winning play or not, just seeing him out there was a victory in itself. His teammates embraced him as if welcoming a hero, and in many ways, that's exactly what he had become. Hamlin wasn't just playing football, he was showing the world the power of resilience and the will to keep moving forward. From that moment, his story continued to inspire. On and off the field, Damar Hamlin became a living reminder that life's toughest moments can spark the most extraordinary comebacks. He used his platform to drive change, to spread awareness, and to show that hope can rise from even the darkest places. Hamlin didn't just return to football, he returned to life with more purpose and intensity than ever before. His journey, marked by a moment that could have ended everything, became a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of choosing to fight, to believe, and to overcome.